Hey guys, a follow-up. I want to thank everybody, Ohio State fans, Michigan fans, whoever, for making my reaction video to the game on Saturday. The most watched video in the history of this channel. Almost 12,000 views, which is remarkable, really remarkable. The reaction and the interaction to my video in the immediate aftermath. And that, by the way, that was before I had even seen the fight that transpired after that game, which I'll get to in a second if I have time. But really, that's not the overriding point of this video. To follow up on the Fire Ryan Day thing, I still believe that, and you could call me crazy for saying this because he's only lost 10 games in his career, and 4 of them. Listen, some people were saying, hey, one of my buddies, Ryan Hickey, who does radio for Infinity Sports Network, formerly the CBS Sports Radio. He's a good buddy of mine in the business, and he's a good dude, Penn State fan. So he's very happy with the results of that game. And Ryan, if you watch this, listen, I understand. And Ryan does a Big Ten podcast, and I'm hitting my microphone here, but Ryan does a Big Ten podcast, and he's basically kind of was likening, hey, you don't see Kirby Smart getting called for his job because he's like 1-4 again, or it was he's like something crazy. He's only got one win against Alabama in his entire coaching career. Here's the difference. All due respect to people like Ryan. I'm sure there's more people like that. Why you don't fire Ryan Day. Here's the difference. Ryan Day has one national championship appearance. One national championship game appearance, and he got destroyed in that game. I understand that 20 of his guys were out due to COVID. I don't think it would have made a difference. They would have gotten destroyed by Bama that year. He's been to one national championship game, and Kirby Smart's won 2 titles. So that's the reason why Kirby Smart gets the benefit of the doubt. So listen, here's what this all boils down to. I don't think Ohio State's going to fire Ryan Day. I hate to break it to y'all. I don't think that's going to happen. That should happen, but 2 things are working against the crowd that is fire Ryan Day. Number 1, is the calendar of college sports. Signing day is Wednesday. You've got the national championship and selection show and stuff coming up, and the first round of playoff games is before Christmas. So you've got that at play. Then you've got another signing day in February, and the transfer portal is going to open up, I believe, on Monday, and people are already putting their names into the portal. So if you're Ohio State, 1, you've got to worry about, okay, we're going to the playoff. That's the first thing. And number 2, if we fire Ryan Day, then a bunch of kids are going to go into the portal. And we've still got to worry about trying to win a national championship. Yes, they did lose to Michigan. Yes, it's the 4th time in a row. But it's really hard to justify, especially with the way college athletics is. If this were a different time and there were more restrictions on what was going on in terms of the portal, NIL and stuff, and you could hold on to these student athletes and not risk them leaving, then yes, I would say it would be more. And if there wasn't a signing day coming up and you had to worry about recruiting in that respect, then yes, I would totally understand the justification to do it. And I still think that there needs to be at least either more emphasis on this game, or there needs to be a change in leadership, because it hasn't worked in 4 straight years. And the last time we saw this happen, it was John Cooper. And John Cooper, they let him go, and then all of a sudden, Jim Tressel comes in, and the emphasis on the game. Ohio State wasn't losing these games, and it mattered. And now you've been out-punked 4 years in a row. So it's I see both sides of it more. A lot of it was coming from an emotional place when I put up that video. And again, thank you all for tuning into that. But listen, if this were any other time, or it was a different stage of college sports, I think it would have been a lot easier for Ohio State to say, hey, let's cut our ties. But the fact that it's a 12-team playoff, they've still got a lot to play for. They can still win a national championship. You've got all the stuff with NIL. You've got all the stuff with the transfer portal, recruiting, whatnot. There's no way that Ryan Day is going to get fired. And I hate to break it to you, Ohio State fans who want him fired. The other thing is, who else is realistically out there right now that you could go get? Mike Vrabel, he's been on record saying, yeah, I don't want to recruit. And I think he's going to end up getting an NFL job. It's much more difficult to be a college coach. And Mike Vrabel was saying that about recruiting before all of this crap happened. So Mike Vrabel's out. Marcus Freeman, just what did I just say with Ryan Day in the playoff? Notre Dame's going to the playoff. Marcus Freeman's not leaving. He's not, at least not now. So Marcus Freeman, you can't bring him home. Dan Lanning, some people have mentioned. Dan Lanning already turned down Bama, okay? And he's at the number 1 team in the country and could go win a national championship. So Dan Lanning ain't leaving, and he's in the playoff too. So realistically, who are you getting? Who are you getting? There's just nobody out there. So that's the other part of this. But here's the other thing that's going to be at play here. If I'm Ryan Day, I'm looking for a way out. So no matter how this season ends for Ohio State, I would keep my eyes on Ryan Day potentially going to the NFL. I would keep my eyes peeled on that, no matter how the season ends. Unless it ends with a national championship, I am convinced that it won't be through Ohio State, but I have thought through this for the last couple of days. I'm convinced that there is going to be a new head coach at Ohio State next year. But I think it's going to be because Ryan Day finds a way out. Because I just don't know, based off some of the stuff that he's been telling us and just the reaction and the immediate aftermath and all the vitriol and the hate that's been coming out for people like me. But people are emotional in this rivalry. I think it's getting to Ryan Day. The fact that it got to him again and they lost again. The only scenario that I could honest to God see Ohio State keeping Ryan Day. And you know, I honestly don't think Ohio State's going to be the one to make the move because I don't think they want to make the move. Ross Bjork came out immediately in the last couple of days and said Ryan Day's our coach. He doesn't want to make the move because they understand, hey, if we make this move, no matter if we're Ohio State or not, we're going to lose. We might lose Jeremiah Smith. We might lose Julian Sayin. We might lose all of these top. Caleb Downs might go into the portal. We might lose so many significant pieces that we brought in. We paid $20 million for this team with NIL. We did all this stuff. If we axe Ryan Day, that's going to make it worse. So it came from an emotional place. But one thing that I would look out for if I'm an Ohio State fan is whenever this season ends, if it ends in the first round of because Ohio State's going to be playing maybe on the road. There's a chance that they're in the 12-team playoff. They're going to be there. I don't think they're going to be a top 8 team. And if you're not a top 8 team, you're not going to get a home playoff game, or you're not going to get a bye. So I don't see that happening. So the one thing I would look out for is whenever the season ends, and I think the first set of games are on like the 22nd of December. Whenever this ends, and it could go as far as the national championship, I would keep my eyes on NFL jobs potentially, and Ryan Day's name coming up in consideration. I could see it happening with the Bears. The Bears have an opening. They just fired Matt Eberflus. I could see it if the Dallas Cowboys, move off from Mike McCarthy. I could see the Cincinnati Bengals. If you Bengals fans, and F all of you, in state, I could see the Cincinnati Bengals bringing in Ryan Day from Ohio State. I could see that happening. But it would only come if their ownership and Mike Brown wants to pony up. And that historically hasn't been the case. So, and I think Zach Taylor's cooked. They're cooked there. So, but yeah, really just a follow up there, just in terms of the reaction. Realistically, I don't think that Ohio State's going to be the one. But I do think that if the season doesn't end with a national championship, I think Ohio State is going to be looking for a new football coach, but it's because Ryan Day leaves. Because he said it himself. It's the worst feeling he's ever had. And that was before he lost this game. So, all right. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.